This country was built on migration. And
what is Zach saying that you think is wrong?
Well, firstly, this country wasn't built on migration.
Don't have arts and culture, and we need to tell that
If it's not for politicians to create community cohesion, then those things wouldn't have changed that.
Make up your mind, Zach. 1 minute, Britain is built on migration. The next, it's built on slavery and colonisation. Which is it? Yet, in the last 1,000 years, heel havers believe the British people did nothing and built nothing. The fact is, Britain is not built on immigration. As his opponent said, it's just a silly thing to say. And Polanski doesn't come back on that. What does he really know about British history in reality? Now, immigrants have certainly helped, especially the Irish. After the Romans left Britain, the Anglo-Saxons came, and then the Vikings, and finally the Normans in 1066. That was almost 1,000 years ago. And we've had more immigration in the last 20 years than we've had in those previous 10 centuries in between the Norman conquest and today. So unless aliens built Britain, who else did? The left is always trying to undermine all things British to push their political agenda and rewrite history. Then, in this debate, they got on to integration. Yes, it would be great if we could integrate everyone. Of course, I want to live in a country where people can get along. But clearly, that isn't always the case. And if that's currently not the case, the last thing you do is continue to import masses of people from radically different cultures and make things worse. That's madness. Even under the Anglo-Saxons and Vikings, England was a violent place, all at war with each other. Eventually, under Alfred the Great, he started to unite everyone as a nation, leading on to Athelstan, his grandson, to be the first king of all England. It seems under this version of multiculturalism, we're breaking that unity down again. We can't be importing masses of people who have loyalties elsewhere and don't integrate into wider society. It's a recipe for disaster. Here's the clip.
If these very large numbers of people left, we would have what you called a culturally coherent country, or a more culturally coherent country. What is a more culturally coherent country?
Well, there is a gathering view now, which I subscribe to, that multiculturalism has not succeeded in this country, that what you need is one culture for a country to be a success. Now, you can be a multi-ethnic culture, you can be a multiracial culture, but you need one national culture for a people to live together in harmony and prosperity.
I'm not sure you agree, do you, Zach?
No, I think diversity is one of the best things about this country. This country was built on migration, and of course we should celebrate people who were born here, but also people who come here and make this their home too. And actually, I think that's part of being a patriot, is the care and compassionate approach towards others. I think that's part of being British.
So what is Zach saying that you think is wrong?
Well, firstly, this country wasn't built on migration. There have been, throughout our history, different waves of immigration, but this country was built on the British people. Now, it's totally true.
Well, we go back to 1066, we can talk about lots of very big waves of...
And that's happened throughout the entire history of our country. But to say that the country was built on migration is simply not true. Now, there are lots of people around the world, exceptional people, that we would want to come to this country and contribute. There are also, sadly, lots and lots of people around the world who live very, very difficult lives, and in our compassion, we extend a hand to some of them.
Can I just ask you on that very specific point? Obviously, we've had, you know, an indigenous population for a sort of longer period, for example, in a slightly more dominant position than in America. But America is absolutely a country that was totally built on migration. Is America a failed state?
I think in many ways, America is a very culturally incoherent state, and I think that that is a massive problem.
I think it depends who creates cultural coherence, and actually that's not for one person to do. It's certainly not for politicians to do. That's for communities to do. We had 14 years of conservative austerity that has destroyed integration because we don't have community centres, we don't have arts and culture, and we need to tell that collectively.
If it's not for politicians to create community cohesion, then those things wouldn't have changed that.